One of the biggest challenges that continually frustrates trucking fleets is finding good drivers and diesel technicians. For various reasons, from regulations to insurance to a lack of awareness of trucking-related careers, it's often a second career choice rather than one young people might pursue right out of high school. Today on HDT Talks Trucking, we'll talk to the co-founder of an association that aims to change that. This is Deborah Lockridge. I'm editor and associate publisher at Heavy Duty Trucking, and with me on HDT Talks Trucking today is Lindsey Trent. She is president and co-founder of the Next Generation in Trucking Association, or Next Gen for short. Lindsey, welcome to HDT Talks Trucking.
Thanks for having me on, Deborah. It's so exciting to be here.
I know we met last fall, and we've kind of been trying to get together and talk ever since, so glad to have you on. So tell us about the association and kind of how it came to be.
So I've been in trucking 12 years, and I started off doing driver staffing. With that, it was every single day, no matter who I talked to. I could go into a trucking company, talk to the receptionist, and then have a meeting with the president. And it was always the driver shortage, the aging workforce, young people not getting into the industry, all of these good jobs being unfilled, right? And then I went to work for Ryder, and it was the same story, but also add diesel mechanics. And looking around, having this problem, right? It's constantly the number one problem for companies is the workforce shortages. And seeing that really there's not a cohesive solution industry-wide for us to solve the problem. You know, there are some people doing things here and there, but what are we doing together as an industry to really make a difference in terms of education and getting young people interested into the industry and helping improve the image of the trucking industry? And at that time, somebody introduced me to a guy by the name of Dave Dine. And Dave had started this high school trucking program. And it kind of clicked with me. I'm like, that's the answer. That is what we need. We need high schools to focus on educating our future workforce. And so I started talking to Dave, and we started dreaming up this idea of creating the Next Generation in Trucking Association and really focusing on working within education and raising awareness about careers in the trucking industry, but then also helping schools start trucking programs. So in diesel mechanic programs, supply chain and logistics programs, and CDL programs. And so that's what we're doing today. We're promoting trucking as a positive career choice for younger people and trying to build up that workforce and get them excited. They're getting messages with the construction industry, with welding, with culinary arts, and even we've got to be there as an industry to promote our good jobs that we have in every community. We're in rural, we're in urban settings, we've got jobs. And so we've got to get involved with our local schools and start promoting all the great things that we do to support the country and to fulfill the supply chain all around.
Yeah, we actually interviewed Dave, I don't know, maybe a year or so before I met you, because that was such an unusual thing to start off with this truck driving program in high school. So it's exciting. And so last fall, you launched this curriculum companion to, I guess, help high schools do more of that. Tell us a little bit about that.
So we won a grant with the Knorr Brimps Global Cares Foundation. They're the parent company of Bendix. And we won a grant through them to have Dave's curriculum written in such a way, because one of the big problems was scaling this program. You know, if I have a school in New York that wants to start a trucking program, Dave's in California, well, how can they implement it? Well, we have this this companion guide, curriculum companion guide now, where we can give it to a school. It lays out every single week, lesson plans, handouts, and it also, it goes along with ELDT theory. So the school chooses what ELDT theory provider they want to utilize. This companion goes along with every week, and it's more geared towards high school students. So it's very involved. It's 210 hours. A senior can take it while they're in high school. It's driver simulation training. It's a holistic approach to training the next generation of truck drivers. And now a school can call me from anywhere in the country and say, hey, we want to start a trucking program, and we have everything laid out for them. It's a turnkey solution.
And what's been the response so far?
Schools are really excited. So they're constantly looking for programs to add that's going to benefit their community, benefit the students and the employers. And now, because of COVID, they've heard of the supply chain. They've heard of and seen what happens when trucking stops. And they know that the jobs pay well, right? Because of all of this, they've seen there's a shortage, the jobs pay well. What can we do to help our students that don't want to go to college and get a credential that will serve them to be career ready? And we are seeing a trend of young people, they don't want to go to college as much anymore. They're questioning that, hey, I'm going to go to college, get a bunch of student loan debt, and things are just coming out of careers in like majors that they don't make very much money. So there's all these students going to college, they're getting student loan debt, they're earning $40,000 when they get out, and they've got all this debt. Well, they can go into trucking right out of high school. We know that there's some barriers to that, but they can start earning a living. And we all know in trucking that starting off as a driver is a great career path to so many positions within our industry, whether they want to stay a driver their entire career or become a safety manager or operations manager. I mean, it's just such a stepping stone to so many wonderful careers, and we're out there promoting that every single day.
Sure. There's even some, top executives that start off as truck drivers. So, that's kind of who knows where it could take them. And yeah, and I've seen that trend, I think, as well, that there's a lot more interest in vocational programs, skilled trades, truck driving. Whereas, I don't know, about 10 years ago, it seemed like it was always college, 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 college. And we know there's so many great careers available that don't involve college.
These young people, they're entrepreneurial. They're ready to get their career started. And one of the most exciting things to me to share with educators and students alike is that a lot of trucks that they see on the road, they are their own small business. They're owner operators, and they manage their career, they manage their job. And that is really exciting to young people because this is the most entrepreneurial generation that we've seen.
They are. I have a 21-year-old, and she's definitely been entrepreneurial. She started a cookie making business during COVID. I mean,
that's amazing.
So one of the challenges there is that 18 years old, you can drive intrastate, but not interstate. Do you all work with the schools to work with trucking companies like in their community to kind of help make that connection with these new graduates and job possibilities?
Yeah, so that is always a challenge, and we want to, we're trying to really work with the FMCSA, with carriers, with insurance. We just don't want to lose these young people, right? If they want to go right into trucking, or if they're like, well, I can't go into trucking because I can't even drive, there's nobody that will hire me. Well, we've got to start removing those barriers because we want young people to choose trucking as a first career choice instead of, down the road when they're 35 as the second and third, fourth career choice. And we think that's really also going to help raise the image of the industry as well. So the Safe Driver Apprenticeship pilot program, it's a 3-year program where 3,000 interstate 18 to 20-year-olds can drive across state lines. They have to work for a company that is in that program. Right now, we're looking for more carriers to go into the program, and they're putting a push out there, the FMCSA, to get more young people who are graduating this year that maybe want to get a CDL to get their CDL and get connected to the program. They started the program because they want to see, are 18-year-olds just as safe as, say, a 24-year-old that got their CDL?
Right.
And one of the things that we're trying to do, right, if we have a program, they're studying while they're in high school, they're on that driver's simulator for 30 hours before they even start their behind the wheel training. It's a very safety focused operation, a holistic approach to training the next generation. And we feel like if at 18, they're studying that, they're learning, it's a year-long program, then they go on to the local community college or a private driving school to get their behind the wheel training. And then they go on into an apprenticeship program and that finishing program with a local carrier where they're being mentored and really learning. We feel like that 18-year-old is going to be so much more well prepared than a 24-year-old that goes into a 4-week CDL training. And so that's what we're promoting out there, is really getting young people trained and to be a well-rounded individual and professional for the trucking industry. There are also construction companies, ready-mix companies will hire 18-year-olds, environmental, so trash companies will hire 18-year-olds, and also harvesters. I mean, they have a K restriction that's been lifted so that 18-year-olds who are hauling for harvesters can cross state lines as well.
Okay. So the Safe Driver Apprenticeship program, I know you've been a big supporter of that. I think it opened for applications, I don't know, year before last, but I know there's been a lot of frustration that there has not been enough participation, that there were too many restrictions. What can you tell us about kind of what's happening with that?
So a couple of the barriers were inward-facing cameras and DOL, Department of Labor Registered Apprenticeship Programs. Well, they have lifted those in that it's not going to be enforced, that if a company wants to be in the Safe Driver Apprenticeship Pilot Program, the SDAP, that they do not have to have inward-facing cameras. So that's bringing in a whole group of employers that were really excited about wanting to do it. But when that was added like the last minute.
Oh, really?
And yeah, like nobody knew about it, and people were excited, and they then came to be in the program, and they were like, wait, when was inward-facing cameras? Because that wasn't a part of the conversation before. So now that's been lifted. So companies who, for whatever reason, didn't want inward-facing cameras can now be in the program. Or if a company didn't want to have, they might have an apprenticeship program, but it's not registered with the Department of Labor. Those also companies can be in it now. So there's more opportunities, there's some more companies, and the FMCSA is really putting a push and emphasis and putting money behind getting more carriers in it and getting more students.
Okay, good. Yeah, so there was a hearing last fall where Congress committee was grilling the then FMCSA head, and that got brought up several times. What's going on with this apprenticeship program? Why is it taking so long to get people in this thing? So, and at that time, they said they were really going to start making a push sort of to get the word out. They said that they had not, people weren't as aware of it as they would like. So hopefully with the drop in those restrictions and the agency's push to really get the word out, that'll be able to move forward.
Absolutely. That's what we're hoping, because we need those statistics to see if 18-year-olds are as safe as 24-year-olds.
So what are some other things that the association's been working on?
So, career exploration is a big thing. And in fact, I just got a phone call today from a middle school that's having a career fair, and they have 50 companies with different occupations coming and representing that career fair. It's an all-day thing. It's 8 to 2. And every student from that middle school is going to come through. And we want to make sure trucking is represented. So we're highly promoting that. If there is a school in your community that has a career fair, please go and take a truck, even ask if you can bring a truck and talk to
Yeah.
students about careers in trucking. We're very involved with organizations like the American School Counselors Association, FFA, Skills USA, and the Association of Career Technical Education. We have a booth at these events. We are doing career branding to teachers, to students. We want everybody to know, our future workforce, the people who influence education, that the trucking industry is a viable career option, and to be promoting that to students and to teachers. At FFA, in fact, this past year, there's over 70,000 students at this 3-day event.
Wow.
And we have a big booth with a driver simulator. We've got VR headsets where students can change the oil in a truck or change the tire in a truck. And it gets these young people excited. And we meet some
Yeah.
incredible young people that are just excited about their future. And those are the type of people that we want in the trucking industry.
All right. I think that's kind of all the time we have, but just anything else that you'd like people to know that we haven't touched on?
Yeah, well, so we're a member supported organization, and we're a nonprofit. So we would love if it's a good fit for your company, if you want to help support our mission. We're literally all about the student, all about getting young people excited and interested in our careers and helping them get trained. And if that's something that you want to support, we would love to partner with you. We'd love your support. And you can reach us at nextgentrucking.org. We're on all the social media channels. So please follow us. Next Gen Truckers is our social handle. And then they can connect with me, Lindsey Trent. I'm on LinkedIn. You can email me. On our website, we have contact us forms, and we would just love to connect with you all. If you've got a school, that might be a good one to start a trucking program. We are talking to schools every day. And so we'd love to connect with that school and maybe get a trucking program in your community.
Sounds great. We will put some of those links into the description with the video, and a link to that interview we did with Dave a couple of years ago, so people can get some more information. So thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me today, Lindsey.
Thanks. It was great to talk to you as well.
And for our viewers and listeners, don't forget to subscribe to HDT Talks Trucking on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. Thanks.